There's been a number of requests for me to give you some input into what to consider when buying a table. And obviously price is your first concern. Now for you guys on a budget, yes, there are tables that are $7,000 and above, but really you can get optimum playing conditions for somewhere around $2,000. And just to offer an illustration, I have an old house in Reno here that retailed at the time for about $1,900, and the quality of the rails and the construction of how the slate is attached to the table was the same as some of their higher end models. Really the increase in price had to do with the styling, had to do with the cabinetry, had to do with the the materials to make the table look more ornate. Your next obvious consideration when buying a table is the size of your room. At your retailer that sells billiard supplies, and at all of your manufacturer's websites, they offer a room chart. It tells you exactly how big your room needs to be in relation to the size of the table and the length of the cue that you're using. One recommendation I would make about the size of your table, I would not step down to the shorter cue for the sake of a larger table. I would stick with what I could fit in my room and play with a standard size cue. Now the components of the table. First factor I want to talk about is the bed of the table, the playing surface. You don't want to go with laminate or like plywood. You want to go with slate only. It's solid. It's more reliable. You just don't want to fool with. Trust me, you don't want to fool with the plywood, the Academy or the Walmart style tables. You really, if you want to obsess about a part of the table, you really want to obsess about the quality of the rails. Whichever brand you go with, you want to make sure you get the premium rails that brand offers. If you're buying a used table, you want to ensure that there aren't any dead or dry rotted rails on a used table that you're buying. Really put a lot of time into investigating the quality of the rails. With cloth, 860 and 760 is the fastest playing cloth. Is that what you should go with? There's arguments for felt versus 860. The argument for felt is that being that the cue ball is more difficult to draw, that it forces you to have a better stroke. The flip side of that is 860 and 760 Simonis is going to play a lot faster. You're going to have it's going to be a lot easier to control the cue ball. The other considerations is the cut of the pocket, how the pocket is set up, the depth of the pocket shelf. One example of diamond tables, the pocket shelf is further back, it's deeper, making shots easier to miss. One other thing to consider is buying a table that has adjustable legs, something like a Gold Crown or a Diamond Pro-Am. You don't have to worry about it becoming unlevel. You can level it yourself. Let's see. The other consideration is a one-piece slate versus a three-piece slate. There are arguments that one-piece slate is less of a maintenance concern, but you don't have to worry about the pieces of slate coming, unlevel. However, be able to have 4 or 5 men to handle, a single piece of slate for a 9-foot table. So think about that before you go with it. Another thing to consider is unibody construction. If you're going to buy, there are arguments that a unibody table is more stable, stronger, but you're going to have trouble getting that up and down flights of stairs if you want your table in the basement or you want your table on the second story of a house. So before you buy a unibody table where you have one major big piece, you need to consider whether or not you can maneuver it into the room that you want it in. One thing to stay away from if you're going to get a bar style table, don't shell out the money on the coin system. Don't let them sell you the coin mechanism. It's something you don't really need unless you're a business owner, unless you're going to actually charge people to play on your table. Now, earlier I was talking about the quality of the cloth, the quality of the rails, the cut of the pocket, the size of the table. There's a lot of argument and discussion about which combination of all of these factors is the best. And I submit to you that there is no best combination. There is no best formula. What you want to do and what you want to concentrate on having is practicing on what you're going to eventually compete on. So if the local pool halls, they're playing on an 8th OS old housing with regular felt, maybe that's what you want to practice on, because that's the best recreation of your competitive conditions that you can come up with. Another recommendation is that if you buy a home table, don't let that be the only table that you play on. You need to get out and experience other conditions, because if you get too used to your own conditions when you go out to compete, there's going to be something missing in your game. Another thing, if you're going to go out and spend any amount of money on a table, always have decent lighting. I don't have the best lighting in the world, but it's adequate. Don't go out and buy a $5,000 table and then go to Walmart and buy the $50 set of balls. You want to have, if you're going to shell out the money on the table, have the good lights, have the good balls, have a decent rack. Don't skimp on any of the other important playing conditions. Now, probably the most obvious question is, what brand do I go with? Even though I have an old housing, I'm not necessarily brand loyal. The best, most reputable names that come to mind is Diamond, Brunswick, Old Housing, Gabriel, to a lesser degree maybe AMF. Whatever you buy, don't go on the word of a sales representative alone. They're going to tell you basically what you want to hear to get you to buy their product. And remember, anything can be proven in a lab. When in doubt, manipulate the data is what I've always heard. So, don't be conned by any kind of sales pitch or any kind of salesperson. Now, remember, this isn't the final word on tables. There's a lot of other things to consider. Whatever you do, don't make a snap decision. There's a lot of things. If you want to be happy with what you buy, you need to get a lot of different opinions, and you need to do a lot of research. Make sure you get what you want and what you're going to be happy with. Hope this helps.